Welcome to the ideaHUB Innovators Podcast, where we spotlight the innovators and changemakers using entrepreneurship to drive impact and uplift communities. I'm your host, Dr. Letitia Vickery, an educator, researcher, and business strategist passionate about helping entrepreneurs turn vision into reality. This episode features Dawn Kelly and her partner and daughter, Jade Duncan, owners of the Nourish Spot, a healthy food and beverage haven in Queens, New York. Dawn launched the Nourish Spot with her two children after a 35-plus year career in PR and communications. From corporate boardrooms to community based entrepreneurship, Dawn has transformed her passion for wellness and service into award winning business success, all while uplifting youth and advancing economic equity. Tune in to hear how she's nourishing her community, one smoothie and one person at a time. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. With me today is
Dawn Kelly, founder and CEO of the Nourish Spot Incorporated.
And Jade Duncan, the COO of the Nourish Spot.
Wonderful. So welcome, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. Let's jump right in. Tell me about the motivation behind the Nourish Spot. Talk about its inception. How did you even come up with the idea? Why is there a need for this spot?
Well, first, I want to say thank you, Dr. Vickery, for inviting us to be on ideaHUB. We really appreciate the opportunity to share about our business. The Nourish Spot began as a result of me losing my job. I was a corporate employee for over 30 years. In 2015, in September, I lost my job. At the same time, I was managing or navigating health challenges. And so I needed to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And in tandem with my daughter, we decided to create a health and wellness oasis in our community called the Nourish Spot.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And why did you feel like this was a worthy investment as her daughter?
I mean, I believe in my mom, so it's just one of those things where if this is your dream, I'm going to believe in you and accomplishing your dream. So I'll be there along for the ride to help.
All right. Now, what a transformation, right? Life really pushes you.
It does.
Right? And I think this is a perfect example of taking the lemons that life throws your way and literally making some lemonade.
Literally.
Right? Now, how difficult was it, though, to get started? What was that beginning part of your journey like?
To get started, it was truly difficult to get started. One, because my mindset wasn't necessarily where it needed to be. While I was gung-ho about the idea to establish a business, I was really sure that I didn't really know everything that I was supposed to be doing. So on one hand, I was exhilarated because I was going to jump into this whole new thing. But on the other hand, I was nervous and full of anxiety because I was taking on this new thing without really having instruction on how to do it.
So how did you fill that gap, right? What was the process that you used to find out what you don't know and then learn that information?
To fill the gap in my knowledge about running an efficient business, I sought classes, right? What they call it, upskilling, right? So first, I looked in my community to see whether or not there were any kind of entrepreneur classes that I could take that were low cost or free. And I found one with the EAC in Queens. They had a class for $100. It was called Entrepreneur Assistance Centers. And so they gave me the opportunity to participate. And I took the class and it taught me the very basics, right? But then I I won't say ready, but I felt a little bit more prepared to take on the idea of actually owning and operating a small business, a brick and mortar business at that.
Right. And how did you go about finding your brick and mortar location?
Oh wow! So that's a lovely story. So the day that I decided that I was going to establish a brick and mortar business, I made sure I pray. I pray, and so in my prayers, I pretty much was tasking Jesus with where should I put it, and honestly, I heard a small voice in my ear tell me to go to Guy Brewer Boulevard, which is our main thoroughfare in my community where we live. And so I went and woke up my daughter, who was a flight attendant at that time, so she was sleeping. And I woke her up and I asked her to accompany me around the corner to Guy Brewer Boulevard, because I'll be honest, I was feeling a little weird. Like I was feeling like maybe I might be going crazy, hearing voices and stuff, right? And so she went with me, and we went outside onto 107th and Guy Brewer, and I followed the instructions that I heard. It said, look up. So I looked up to the right, and I didn't see anything. And I got really frustrated and started to cry. And my daughter said to me, Jade said to me, you got me out here. You need to look left and right. And so I said a small prayer again, because I was really feeling crazy. And I swung my head to the right. And when I swung my head to the right, I actually saw the store where we are now doing business. It said DK Upholstery. And my name is Dawn Kelly. And I was able to get in touch with the landlord after a number of tries. And it was very easy to get the place. Once I filled out the paperwork with the real estate agent, he introduced me to the landlord, and the landlord gave me the key on first meeting.
Wow. You know, being spiritually led is important, right? And I think it's such an untold journey of so many entrepreneurs who go towards something because their spirit led them. And you're almost afraid to talk about that spiritually led journey, right? So thank God for those voices that spoke to you, that still small voice. We know what that is, right?
Yes.
And thank God for the faith of your daughter, who understood what your vision was and wasn't going to allow you to give up on it, right? And so now you're in a beautiful spot, but that spot, that brick and mortar location, comes with responsibility and obligation, right?
Yes.
And ensuring that you can keep the lights on, keep the doors open, keep the customers coming in. So tell us about your strategies, your day-to-day that help you to keep going, help you to keep the business going.
Well, I'll start. When we first started, for the first 2 years, I was pretty much running the business on my own because my two children were working. As I mentioned, Jade was a flight attendant and my son was working someplace else. So I was really managing the business all by myself. But then I did PR before I started entrepreneurship. And so then I started promoting the business. And I'm not sure what the watershed moment was, but all of a sudden we went from no customers to too many customers, and I couldn't handle them all on my own. And so one of the first challenges we had was, once we were open, was now finding staff to help. But finding staff at as low cost as we possibly could, because we were still in startup stage, and we didn't really have a full picture of all of the responsibilities and all of the financial obligations that we were going to be needing to take care of, right? So what did I do? I reached out to Jade immediately. I called her on the phone because I had remembered that when she was in college, she was a resident counselor. And so I know she knew how to work with students and things like that. So I called her immediately and was like, help. And then she could tell you what happened next.
Basically, from my time in being a student here in New York, I knew that there were internship opportunities that a lot of high schools offered to students that were over the age of 16 years old, where they'll give you an opportunity to get on-the-job work experience before you graduate high school. So that's what I had to do to graduate from my high school. So I was just like, let's look at whatever local technical or vocational schools that we have nearby that does culinary or does business, or that focus on entrepreneurship or culinary. And then see if we can leverage them if they have people that need to do externships. And if so, then, hey, we are a new business located in the area. We need interns. Do you have some? And it just it was just lucky that a lot of the schools that were in our neighborhood had a bunch of students that wanted to work, but didn't have actual viable locations in which, or work, sites in which they were willing to take children, allow them, teach them, and understand that these are 16-year-old kids and they, are just now entering the workforce, and a lot of them don't have the experience. So you'll have to be patient with them and teach them. And so we did that. And honestly, from then to now, we've continued to grow, and we've grown more with different partnerships in different schools of different ages. Some are youth now. So we are like an internship and training ground for high school kids to come in and get access to entrepreneurship and a lot of things that, otherwise they probably wouldn't have seen just as soon as they, seen it, or if ever seen it.
That's wonderful. So what a great idea of being able to tap into the local youth community.
Yes. I mean, we have a lot of kids now, and I mean, it's not a lot of social activities for our youth to participate in. So, I mean, why not give them something to do? And they have to prepare for their future one way. So this is definitely a great help. Keeps them out of trouble, keeps them occupied. And hey, for us, it keeps them healthy because all they're eating is fruits and vegetables while they're, if they're snacking. So works both ways.
All right. Now,
and they get paid.
And they get paid.
Yes.
Right?
And that plaque there is actually one of the organizations, Queens Community House, that we have the longest relationship with in terms of having interns and then hiring some of those interns to actually work for us. In fact, one of the gentlemen that is working in our Queens store right now, he came to us as an intern probably about maybe 6 years ago, when he was in the 10th grade, and now he's our manager.
Yep. Oh, and we plan on taking, as far as we grow, he grows with us. So, that's how we started. Helped with the
some of the challenges.
Some of the challenge of business was tapping into our local communities and partnerships to get some interns.
That's wonderful. Now, I talk to companies often that are like, they understand I'm at the college level, and they're like, I need an intern. How do I get one? And so, so it's great that you can recognize the potential in that space, right? However, like you said, you also have to approach these students, these younger people, in a very specific way.
Yeah, yes.
Right? What are some of the challenges that can come with training students between the ages of 15 to 18 and up, and not just the challenge, right? But you guys are the expert in this. So how do you position yourself to be prepared to be responsible for these, this younger talent pool, we should say? And how do you hold their hand along the journey?
I say I'll start. So for me, I'm usually very empathetic with the youth. So when they come in, I'm usually, talking to them like I'm still one of them. So it's more so of, listen, you signed on for this. I'm only going to, basically, these are the rules in which you're going to follow. You're going to agree to them. If these are the rules that you say you're going to agree to, the one time you don't agree to them, this is what's going to happen. It's going to be black and white. And I think that makes it easier for them, because then there's no, oh, well, you said this and then you did this. No, here's the rules. We're going to agree to them before you sign them. If you have any issue with them, let's work out the issues now. So that way we're on the same page. And once the chapter begins, if ever we deviate, then there's someone else that's willing to replace you. And your school will send another intern. We are willing to teach you to, help you grow. We usually try to find what their dreams are and try to encourage that. So some of our interns, I know one of our interns, his love was for Broadway. So we made sure whenever we had an opportunity to go to a Broadway play, who do we take? That was the reward that we gave for, continuing to agree to the rules and follow the rules as we said we're going to follow. So that's what usually we try to do, as well as we understand this might not be your final destination, but this is just some skills to help you get to where you're going. And so we want to find out where you want to go and then introduce you to that as well, so that you can see that you can get there as well.
And then I would also add to that, we also have instituted peer-to-peer support. So as I mentioned before, most of the people that work for us now as fair wage employees are former interns. And they're not that much older than the young people that are coming in as learn to earn interns or summer youth employee interns. So we actually will have one of our employees take on the new intern, and then they're responsible for training them. Okay. So we lay out what the big rules, right? Because we're the bosses. So we lay out the big rules. But in terms of day-to-day management inside the store, it's our team leads, and our team leads are their peers. Okay. Maybe 5 years older, but they're their peers. They can see themselves in the gentleman that works in our Queen store and a young lady, as well as in Brooklyn. And so I feel like it's easier for them to learn from somebody that they see as their peer and someone that they can see themselves in, okay? Because they're like, if Denzel can do it, if Brittany can do it, if Mario can do it, if Tanisha can do it, then maybe I can do it too. So that's another way in which we manage the issues, because there are some, I'm of the baby boomer or what they call me. There's a different word for the generation I'm from. And I am challenged by some of the things that I see in the younger generation, like, lack of socialization, because, they don't really know how to talk to people because they're so busy looking at a phone, right? Or a computer screen, right? Not being on time. They have no idea about why it's important to be on time. Okay. And then I've had some dress issues, right? Where we've had to talk to them about how they should dress for this type of position. Okay. So, but those are not insurmountable challenges. And again, I would say as a mom, I've raised 2 children already. And I'm going to say I successfully raised 2 children. And so I know what I use to get my children to the point where they are now. And so I try to remember those things when I have to give constructive criticism to one of these kids, because that's the other thing. They're fragile and it's hard for them to accept accountability and constructive criticism. And so I try my best to be as kind and as gracious as I possibly can, having that information in mind to deliver criticism that they can handle and then they can manage.
That's so good. That's so good. You have to be responsible for your employees at all levels, right?
Yes.
And so it's wonderful to know that the Nourish Spot is this safe growing space for them, not just in terms of the work knowledge they're gaining, but also in terms of character development.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I'm certain that you two provide wonderful examples of what it means to be a professional, what it means to be an entrepreneur, what it means to be someone who set out towards a dream and is making that dream happen.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So let's get back into the dream.
Okay.
Right. Talk to us about the milestones that you've been able to achieve, the things that you're really proud of.
Well, I'm sure we probably have we might have different ones, but for me, the milestone one is just being open for consecutive 7 years. It's a pinch me moment every day. Another milestone, I believe, is when we hired our first employee, right? We talked about the interns, but then we actually had to hire our first employee. So that was a milestone for us. Another milestone is catering, right? When we got our first big catering gig, that was like wonderful. And we were like, we need to make more money. Catering is going to be it. And so, having the opportunity to go into these big buildings in Manhattan and cater to places like Nike and Bloomberg, that was wonderful. But then the next milestone that was wonderful is right after the pandemic, right? Surviving the pandemic was a milestone.
Tell it.
And we made it through.
As a food services business.
Yes, we made it through. We did not close one day during COVID. And so that is a milestone in itself. And then I would say, and then I'm going to stop so Jay can talk about hers. The next milestone for me was when we emerged from COVID and we received a contract to become the first ever Black-owned, mother and daughter-owned juice bar to be set at Forest Hill Stadium, where Arthur Ashe first played tennis, and we were there for 2 years. We were their vendor to serve smoothies and juices for all their concert series.
All right now.
That was a wonderful, wonderful milestone. I'll be quiet because I'm sure Jade has some.
She took all the good ones, didn't she?
No.
No? Okay.
All right. I would say mine is basically all the other ones that she missed. It's just been great to see a dream, that was started in her bedroom, have flourished to get us to this point that we are. It's just been amazing. All the brands that she's mentioned, but then, all of the locations that we've been able to visit around New York City that are just like, the epitome of New York. So we've done juice bars in the World Trade Center, the new World Trade Center, which is been done for the last 3 years now. I've been consistently going there. The Jacob Javison Center. So basically hitting all the big landmarks of New York City. I think has been also amazing to see, and just again the continued growth and continuing to see how far it has come from the the little juice bar dream that was drawn out on paper to now it just being an actual brick and mortar that you can walk into in multiple places. So and all the places and other brands. So I think recently we just had a partnership with the New York Liberty, and so Go Liberty. We did something with the Mets, Go Mets. So it's just been wonderful to partner with some of the great New York City legendary companies, because it's good company to be a part of. So yeah.
I gotta jump in because she left out one that I think we gotta talk about.
Okay.
Well, she had left out two, so we gotta talk about. One is the U.S. Open. So a milestone for us is that we graduated from Forest Hill Stadium into Billie Jean King International Tennis Center to be a concession for the last 3 years at the U.S. Open, which is the world's largest sporting event. So we're really proud about that.
Oh, yeah.
And then the other one that she didn't mention is that we are now equity partners in the airport in JFK.
Wow.
And so we figured out with God's grace, we figured out how to position ourselves in different areas. What I've learned is that you're supposed to have money or funding coming in from 7 streams. The Bible says 8. So we're doing our best to diversify so that we have ways of making money in different places, including through our merch site. We have a merchandise site as well.
All right. This mother and daughter team is unstoppable. All right. Now, being a family-owned business is a beautiful thing, but also can come with its challenges too, right?
Yes.
You're taking personal relationship and merging it into business. How do the two of you manage it from the perspective of a mother and then from the perspective of a daughter?
Being a family-owned business is challenging. It's rewarding by all means, but it's very challenging. I believe that I have a very strong relationship, a very loving relationship with both my kids. My daughter, because she's a girl like me, right? So I try my best, but I know my best is not good enough, right? But I try my best to put some separation in, right? Some. We live together, we work together. So I try my best, to not lose sight that I am her mother and I love her regardless. It doesn't matter, right? Whether we're in business or not, I love her regardless. So I try to make sure that that is said in many ways as I possibly can, right? It's not just coming out of my mouth. It's in the actions I take, the things I do, the words I say. But I know that I couldn't run this business without Jade. She's the yin to my yang. The things that I don't know how to do, she knows how to do. The things that I don't know how to do, well, the things I do that she doesn't want to do, I do those. So I think that we make a great team because we rely on our strengths. And when she says like time out or enough, I give her time out and we go to our different places and she does what she wants to do and I do what I want to do. But I enjoy being with my daughter. So the other part of it is it never seems like work to me because I enjoy being in the company of my daughter. I think she's bold and brilliant and beautiful and I really like working with her.
Girl, Mom said you got the 3 B's: bold, brilliance, and beauty.
I mean, outside of work, so prior to starting the business, me and my mom, we hang out. Like, we were cool. We travel together. We can definitely have fun. I think once starting a business, it definitely changes the dynamic of a relationship because it's not just fun. I think now with this business, again, like I said, the dynamic of the relationship, it's not just fun. Now our businesses are living. So it makes the pressure of life basically the pressure of life harder. Instead of the responsibility of me having an outside job, just focusing on myself. If I decide not to go to work today, that's fine. I'm just, it's my food, my bills, if my cable off for, a month because I decided I didn't want to go to work for 2 weeks, that's my life. My business, I deal with that. But now when you have a family business and your partner, boss is no longer some outward source that you can just ignore, hang up, again, if you're living in the same house, where you going? I can't, it's no calling out of work. Even if you quote unquote want to call out, okay, she's not going to answer the phone. She's going to knock on your door. So
it's a different level of accountability.
It changes the relationship. I sometimes, would prefer it be church and state, where it's just in the home, it's just home. I don't talk about work in the home because that's it. And then at work, we just talk about work. I think that dynamic for me is better. Because, hang it up. Sometimes I don't want to talk about work and I don't want our personal or life relationship to focus on work. And sometimes when it's on work, we don't need to talk about the outside drama or whatever's happening in our personal relationship. it is a challenge that you work through. It's very rewarding in the sense that it does build a stronger connection because, obviously if you can fight a fire in the house and then fight a fire in a business, then there's really no fire that you can't put out.
Yeah.
And the trust factor is definitely there. But sometimes I would just say don't live with your business partner because that way, again, you can have separation of church and state when conversation done when the phone hang up versus conversation you hang up and they, hey, yeah, so you just hung up, but I wasn't over. So, but otherwise, it's great to have a partner that you can rely on, that that you can trust, that you don't have to second guess, and that for a fact if something goes wrong, they are not going to hesitate to jump in to make sure that it doesn't go wrong for long. So that's a good thing. But, I'm not going to lie. It's different because now you get to see people differently. Like my mom just had to be my mom. Now she has to see how, my work ethic is and how, we are not the same people and how I want to be who I want to be and she is who she is. And I'm not going to want to be like this, or you're not going to want to be like this. And the way that I think and the way that I manage problems, the way that you think, the way that you manage problems are going to be different. And so it's just learning how to make sure that, one, we are both feeling heard in the situation, and that both of how we want to go about it is handled. And, and whoever has the best method of handling the situation, we support that method. And what I got to do to tell me how I got to help to make it work. And so we go from there.
Tough but beautiful, right? And we can hold both in our hands, right? Joy and the tougher moments, working through a relationship, learning how to respect boundaries is a big thing, right?
Yes.
On both sides.
On both sides, yes.
On both sides. And I completely understand that. I share a home with my mother and learning how to respect boundaries on both sides, right?
Yes.
I don't have business with her quite yet, right? But it's true. And so it's beautiful that you've established procedures that can work for each other and continuing to remind one another of those spaces as gently as you possibly can, as compassionately as you possibly can, is important.
Yep.
I have a really, really quick thing that I'll tell you that I realized I wasn't doing. So, like, we live together. So when we wake up in the morning, I'm up with the birds. And so I'm oftentimes going over what happened yesterday or the day before, looking through our email, like getting ready for the day. And I realized one day that I was just sending her email 7 a.m. in the morning, right? I wasn't even saying good morning. Really, I wasn't even saying good morning. Now, I realized that on my own. She didn't have to say anything to me. I know for a fact that when I reach out to people, I always say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever. And then I realized that's not fair, right? That's not right. And so she could tell you now when she gets text from me when it's early in the morning, the first thing and now that Apple has put in this thing where you can undo, right? I will even undo a message. If I look at it and I see that I didn't say good morning, I will undo a message and retype it up and then send it back again because I do care about her feelings and I do care about boundaries. I have my own. And so for the rest of this year and for going forward, I'm going to make sure that we have that because I think it's important as well.
Yeah, yeah. Y'all didn't know y'all was going to have a little therapy session today. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. You guys are beautiful.
Thank you.
So let's get into talking about tips, right? Tips for business owners who want to get into the space you're in, food services, whether it's specifically around your particular niche business, catering, what are some tips that you both might have to offer them?
I would say, my first tip for anything is to be passionate about what you do, and to wholeheartedly like what you're doing, because that definitely is the saving grace for a lot of the hurdles that will come your way. If you are passionate about it, then the hurdle is just a jump, right? Yeah. It's just a puddle to you. And Yeah, and also surround yourself with people who will believe in whatever you believe in your dreams. No matter how big, small it is, they'll believe in your dreams. Because again, you'll need someone who, when you have that crazy idea and it sounds crazy, somebody's going to be like, no, actually it sounds crazy. No, I think it's possible. Let's do it. And that will change how you see the problem, how you see, whatever it is, because it's now like, oh, maybe it's not that bad. I can do it. We're going to do this. And so that's my big tip is, one, surround yourself with people who agree and believe and will, yep, you can do that. And then, again, really like what you do, and not just for, oh, I need to do this because I need to make money, but I need to do this because I enjoy doing this. Like, I really like doing this.
The tips I would give entrepreneurs, I agree with both of them, both of the tips that Jade offered, because I feel like if you don't have passion about what you're doing, it's just not going to work.
Right.
Because business has so many cyclical up and down, so many moments of like distress, so many remarkable moments that, you have to enjoy it. Okay. The other thing is, I'm like, get your money right? Get your personal money right. As well as get your credit and everything in shape. Because if you're going to go looking for loans, okay, you got your personal credit is going to be tapped, and they need to know that you're going to pay back. Get certified, right? Figure out what lane of your business you're in, and then get certified as a MWBE. If you want to work in airports, as an ACDBE. Depending on your lane, you might need to become, I think it's something called a LBE. So there's a lot of certifications. Do your research, find out what certifications you need in order to move forward, and get them. Keep your paperwork in order, okay? Because whenever you're looking for a grant, loan, new investor, partner, they want to see your paperwork.
Right.
So keep your paperwork in order, right? Hire an accountant, hire an attorney, okay? Hire a bookkeeper if you can. Surround yourself with other entrepreneurs, not necessarily in your industry either, but surround yourself with other entrepreneurs and share ideas. And then last but not least, learn. Never stop learning. I believe that learning is a lifelong journey, and I believe that my whole life. And so I have applied for and got accepted in and have graduated from quite a few business accelerator programs, because as we started this, I knew what I didn't know. And in order to make sure that my business is efficient, effective, and profitable, I needed to know things that I did not know.
Right.
And so I went and took all the classes. I sat before my computer. I went to the buildings and I met with the people, and I take advantage. Like in the Ascend program, I'm in the Ascend program. Today, I had the best call with one of the mentors. Last night, I had another wonderful call with one of the mentors. Ideas that I had just circulating in my head, I was able to share them with someone, and they gave me feedback, credible feedback that I can now use. So get yourself some good mentors as well, and get into a business accelerator program. And last but not least, you may be afraid. Do it afraid.
Mic drop. Mic drop, right?
Yeah.
So good. All such good gems. Now, where do you see the Nourish Spot in 5, 10, 15 years out?
Well, I'm old, seasoned. So
What does that even mean?
I'll speak for the 5 years.
Girl, speak for the 10. Oh my God.
I'll speak for the 5 years.
Words mean power, so you should speak for your 10 years and not your 5.
Okay. Well, I'm going to let you speak.
Because you know
No,
she's going to keep working.
So my dream for the Nourish Spot is for it to be ubiquitous. As Jay mentioned earlier, we're world travelers. We have been all over the world. And one of the things that I've seen all over the world is American brands. I'm not going to name them all, but we all know them because we know them by their logos. And the last time I was in Italy, I went into this magnificent edifice of one of the large coffee brands in America. And as I walked through that place, I said to myself there, if they can be here, then so can the Nourish Spot. Because what we're offering is fruits and vegetables that people can customize into salads and smoothies and wraps and juices. And how beautiful that would be to be in Italy or to be in Bali or to be in Asia and using their local fruits and vegetables.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To make smoothies and salads and wraps and juices.
Beautiful.
Underneath the Nourish Spot brand. So that is my dream. My dream is that the Nourish Spot will expand internationally. It will expand in the national sense, expand in airports, stadiums, arenas, and schools near you.
All right.
Ditto. Literally just to last, to thrive, and to sustain, and then everything that my mom dreams for Nourish to be.
All right.
This is all about generational wealth. This is all about me creating something in tandem with my daughter that prayerfully will outlast me and her and anybody else in our ancestral stream. I want it to be here forever.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's the legacy.
Yes.
And Jade,
Yes.
what do you want your legacy to be when all is said and done?
The person that I am now, I'm a world traveler. I'm in the quest to try to get to Antarctica, so I can say that I've been to every single continent, because that's the last one that I have to set foot on yet. And then it was to see the world. So the goal is, like my mom said, the ubiquitous brand was to have our business in these locations. So, I mean, if they can meet me along the journey, or I can meet them along the journey in all of these countries that I want to continue to visit and to see, then that's what I want to help to achieve. But the goal is at least my goal originally was to see the world. And so once the Nourish Spot was born, it grew to now having to include, how do I fit me seeing the world with Nourish now seeing the world. So it's jumping into whatever role is needed of me to continue that. So, I mean, if it's having to, do the paperwork, then I have to do that. It has to just be, at this point, I really truly don't think that far out as far as, what I'm leaving behind for the next generation, or what the next generation is going to think of me or remember me by. It's more so of me, what do I want to make sure I do and complete in the journey or my journey. But again, I want to be someone that is known to help. And to help people complete their dreams and get to wherever, they want to go. And so Nourish wants to get around the world. We're going to have to figure out how to get it around the world, too.
I call that a dream maker.
I mean.
Right.
And then if I could just jump in, what we're hoping for the Nourish Spot is that we get to a point where it's running on its own, right? And so if my daughter chooses to have a family, or she chooses just to be a world traveler, right? She just, what do they call that? Like a gal around town. I want her to live her dreams, right? The Nourish Spot started as my dream, and then I pulled her in to help me make it work. It wasn't necessarily her dream, okay? But now it's ours, and we've created something that the world enjoys, and we're told that every single day. And so I'm hoping that the legacy that I've left is one of anything is possible if you believe, and if you're willing to be determined and perseverant and try and just not give up. And I want to say that Jade already exhibits that. Okay. And so anything else that she does in her life will be extra. It will be the icing on the cake.
That's wonderful. Now, remind us of the services that the Nourish Spot provides, and tell us what kind of opportunities you're looking for to help you scale, to help you grow.
So currently the Nourish Spot, we create everything. We make fresh made juices, smoothies, salads, wraps. It's customizable, so you're able to create anything your heart desires, or if you're not comfortable with choice, like a lot of people seem to be, we have things that are the fan favorites. People love our pineapple mango tango, especially for the fall going into the winter. It's not only does it taste good, it's great to help like build immunity and bloating and keep you regular, which is all good and healthy and you need. So it's amazing. And we currently have the capabilities to cater as small scale, small as 10 people, 5 people. And we've catered as much as thousands. So we are, we're open, we are available. Currently our next goal, or what we're probably on the quest for now, is to find a co-packer and a HPP bottler to be able to expand and to basically scale some of our products. So in keeping our juices from just being, in store, we can now have them and ship them worldwide, or at least nationwide, so that people here in America can give us a try, and then continue to expand outwardly. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anything. Cater. We'll cater you. Come let us nourish you with any, just come get a salad, a wrap, a smoothie, a juice, a wheatgrass shot.
Did I miss, what was the other part? So the other thing is that what I'm hoping for the Nourish Spot is that we could build a bigger team. So we'll be looking hopefully for more people to help us build a bigger team. So we can take on more responsibility as they arise. I want to keep working with the young people because I really enjoy pouring into these kids and then seeing them win in the world. And if you're looking for us, I'm hoping that people will come to the Nourish Spot in Queens at 10705 Guy Arborough Boulevard, or in Brooklyn at 277 Malcolm X Boulevard between Macon and McDonough. You can find us at our website, www.thenourishspot.com. That's THENOURISHSPOT.com. You can check us out on Shopify for our e-commerce, and then find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I really appreciate getting to know you, learning of your journeys, talking about where the Nourish Spot is going, where they've come from, and looking forward, one, to getting some of that food myself, and then two, to remaining a part of your journey with you.
Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Victory. I really appreciate this.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Thank you for listening, audience. See you on the next episode of the podcast.